It's funny. It's actually a lot harder. The Grand Canyon was like a big fun day after acquiring all the skills. I mean, it took a little while to, get base jumping and skydiving and then mega, but once put it all together, I had a great day. This is like technical. I got to land. I didn't have to land at the Grand Canyon. I just flew away. It was fine. But over here, like, this is tighter. This is more tech, and I got to make it happen. And it's like, okay.
And plus, he's got me barking at him like, you have to ride away.
Yeah, you got to make it.
You got to
can't
make
just
it.
fake it.
But I think also, even for like someone watching this, like a 540. I mean, most people that know what skateboarding is knows what a 540 looks like. I don't know if they know it's called a 540 or if it's called a McTwist, but a 540 is like the staple. When someone says like, "Oh, you're a skateboarder, you skate those big ramps and you go up and do the turns and come back," and that's like the staple of like when I was a kid. It was like the quest to learn 540s, and it was such an important trick to everyone. And I think it to me it really represents how good skateboarding is and what you can do on a skateboard, and to really do this trick where you go up and spin 1.5 times and come back down and incorporate it into this thing. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, like I said, with the balloons, everything's like a toss-up, and there are, like, plan B, C, D, and we want to make sure it looks good and it's right. So I'm going to give it all I can on the 540. And for some reason, I'm looking at balloons, and I don't know what's going on. You can get hurt. So if I say, like, I don't know, I'm like being realistic and not just being like, I don't want to do the 540. I'm going to give it all I can, and if I feel it's tough, then there are kick flips and there are other things that will just look, aesthetically be just as nice. So we'll give it a try.
I think the other thing though is too is like I knew what was possible and he knows what's possible, but then we have to try it and see what the results are.
Right.
And so even like going into something like that, we got to be like, okay, where do we need a trail for him to go up for the balloons? And can we have balloons in this part and not over here and in his landing and taking off? And a lot of it is like we have these ideas now, what is kind of possible. We kind of just need to get there, try it out with the balloons, and then be like, okay, this works or this doesn't work, and kind of move on from there.
Think through each one, man. I think skateboarding, man, it's like, Ty and I pretty much have around the same generation coming up, and I grew up in Brazil. I grew up away from here, but I saw it in mags and I saw videos, after a little while. Obviously, the whole PAL team, Steve Caballero, who was here yesterday, was a huge inspiration, and, watching Tony, Christian Hosoi, like all those guys coming up. And someone that I really related to, and there's actually two guys, which is Colin McKay and Danny Way, and more because I was a tiny kid and I saw everyone else. It was great, but then I saw another tiny kid with a lot of power, and that's what I wanted to be, and that's what So Danny has always been a huge influence on me, since a young guy, and I mean to this day he keeps that up, and it seems like forever. So I would say that. And as far as like, I'm a huge, I enjoy skate videos a lot. I mean, every skateboarder does. So to me, like, seeing what's possible today with what people are doing, obviously Stacy Peralta back in the day and what he's done, kind of like this push of like skateboarding videos don't only have to be about the tricks, because you can get a really crazy trick on a bad format and it doesn't matter because it's about that trick. If for some reason you got like Tom Penny going crazy on a phone, you got that and you're seeing it and then it's true. But if you can get that on, Thai mode, with all the craziness and just make it look like insane.
What's the craziness? What's that?
To me, it's like, I think of like, the latest video, like in some Mark Johnson shots and like Guy Mariano and just like,
the really, dollies and jib arms
dollies
and stuff.
And jib arms and I mean, it's a simple obstacle, but the trick isn't simple, and you would think that the pressure would be so big for someone to go that technical with that much going on, and it was just good to see that it's
cool because it's like the same thing here though. Like we have the Technicrane, which in skateboarding hasn't really been used, and it's cool that like in skateboarding we've used like dollies and little jib arms and different movements and stuff, even handheld skating with them. But the Technicrane is this new tool that you can really use and like get it wherever you want and just have it. It's almost like a floating dolly anywhere in an XYZ axis and just move it wherever you want, and it's gonna give this piece just such a cool, unique look,
But it takes a long time to shoot something and to set up a session. Like, I have to be feeling really good if I, am going to do something, technical on my mega ramp at home. I then have to wake up and make at least like 4 or 5 calls to see if people are available.
Yeah.
And then you set it up, people drive down, you get everything ready, and now you have to perform. So like that pressure sometimes, it's hard. And to film a skate video like that, it means that there were countless sessions like that. There were countless times where like, let's go do this and we'll do this and we'll set it up and we'll spend all this money, and then you gotta, you know, so that's where the professional skateboarder comes in, and like then you have to.
And that's also where the parallels with this thing is though too. You know, it's a lot of the shots are kind of the same pressure, and we know it's doable, and let's see if we can make it happen.
I never really had any practice skating with balloons. It's actually my first time, you know, so you just don't know.
You never have?
Never have, man. So, you know, it's like, and I've done like, you know, I've closed my eyes and dropped in on my vert ramp and see if I can get a rock fakie, but I mean, that's that tranny that I skate all the time, and I can do it, you know, but going through something new, a bowl with, you know, different turns, it's like skating with your eyes closed, you know, and it's tough, you know, it's like it's not fun because you really don't know what's going on, and you need to, for speed, you need to pump, and to pump, you need to see where the tranny is, you know, and if you can't see it, it's pretty tough. So then that's where like the tricks come in, and we try to figure out, you know, okay, how can we blow this? I just want to see this. If I can see this, nothing else matters, you know. And then you just work with it. You blow through the balloons, and it is a mind, you know, they redirect you a little bit. You know, they give a little, you know, they pop, and or some of them don't, and they kind of make you dance around a little bit. So in your mind, you're thinking you're gonna fall, so you gotta like just power through. If I'm kind of iffy about it the first couple of times, then when I actually go for it, I'm just like, I don't care what happens. I gotta go in that mind, and like, if I slam, I slam. What's the big deal? You know, it's like just go, and then you.
Well, Bob's working on a ton of things. You got the flip video.
Yeah, I got a couple video projects that I'm just finishing up, and then, you know, all the competitions that are happening, a lot of mega ramp skateboarding, and trying to take it all over the world. We got a couple events this year. We're taking mega ramp to Australia. We got the mega ramp obviously coming up at X Games, and you know, so we're just trying to move that thing along and keep it going. And there's all the NBC vert events and a couple of bowl events. I mean, I really try to do everything that I possibly can. You know, I'm young and it's my time, and you know, eventually I'll be able to chill, but I'm ready to skate, so I got a lot going on.
And then for me, like I basically make skateboard films and do that as my passion and what makes me keep going and hanging out with these guys and just filming skateboarding and doing cool stuff in skateboarding. So I'm just gonna keep doing that for as long as I can. You know, the kids keep getting younger, I keep getting older, so that's a little bit weird. But no, everything aside, it's like, you know, I really like the filmmaking aspect of it, and skateboarding was something so true to my heart as a kid, and I felt like it gave me a direction in life, and I feel that's how like everyone feels, like it gave them a direction and something to do, and it's only in your best interest and skateboarding's best interest to give back to it and give your best to it as well, and hopefully that can rub off onto some other kid that can get psyched looking at it down the road. And I kind of feel like that's what we all do in one way or another.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think especially what Ty does is keeps the ball rolling. I mean, it's like, you know, and what I do obviously, and what professional skateboarders do, you light up the kids' eyes, and then they look in like, oh, I want to skate, I want to keep going, and then they see a video project well done, they're like, wow, you know, like that's really gets me going. So
yeah,
we've had it, we've seen it, we've had, you know, Stacy and other skateboarders, you know, inspire us. So it's kind of like you keep it going.
You know that it's possible, so it's like just keep the ball rolling, like you said.
Exactly, man.
no Z boys. No, I mean, I think one of the things like with skateboarding, there's all these different facets of progression, and you know, even like someone like Rune, like he progresses the sport as far as like in vertical ramps and everything that goes on with that era. And then there's the street guys that progress it on the street, and then someone like Bob is progressing it on the big mega ramps, which is something that's been newly introduced within like last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's this whole other new world in skateboarding now, where these guys are doing these huge, you know, airs and jumps on these ramps that we never even really knew was possible until these guys started trying it. And it's crazy because just with skateboarding, it's like it almost reinvents itself every time. It's like just when you think you've seen it all, like here's the mega ramp and you can do 75-foot airs.
Yeah.
And
so there's always a story to tell, basically. You know, and you can keep searching, and there's plenty.
Yeah.